Hello, everybody, and welcome into the NJCAA Network. We have a busy day of selection shows, and you are here to watch the Division II Men's Basketball NJCAA National Tournament Selection Show. I'm Zach McKinstry. Welcome into the NJCAA Network. 20 teams will play in this tournament. 16 have already decided their fate as district tournament champions. They're just waiting to see their seed. And then 4 teams wait on the bubble to see if they get an at-large bid. Tournament going to be played in Danville, Illinois. It is the 31st year our Division II tournament goes to Danville. Let's go ahead and look at the bracket and see how it shakes out. March 18th to the 23rd is when the tournament will take place at Danville Area Community College. And you can see there the 16 and 17 seeds, the 13 and 20 seeds, the 15 and 18, and 14 and 19 will essentially play into the second round. The top 4 seeds still don't know who they will play yet. They'll play the winner of those games, and then everybody else starts on March the 19th, and all those seeds will be determined here shortly. We start today, though, with the top 4 seeds in this tournament, and the number 1 overall seed in our Division II Men's Basketball National Tournament is Davidson-Davie. Another dynamic Davidson-Davie team under head coach Matt Ridge finished 32-1 this year en route to the number 1 overall seed. The Storm rumbled to the tune of 95.3 points a game this year, assisting a 4th best 21 buckets a contest. They get the number 1 seed in this tournament, followed by the number 2 overall seed, and to no surprise, it is South Suburban. With Davidson-Davie getting the 1, South Suburban gets the 2, both extremely talented this year. The Bulldogs are 31-2, playing 11 games against ranked opponents. The top dog in this squad is one of the more prolific scorers in NJCAA history, Jamel Jones, who is putting up 33 points a game this season. The sophomore guard leads a dangerous offense as South Suburban looks to claim a national title. Another a top 4 seed, the 3rd seed in this one is Ellsworth. 27-6, the Panthers' magical season carries them to the national tournament for the first time in 38 years. They overcame a 13-point halftime deficit with a 59-point second half to beat Iowa Lakes in the Region 11 title game. Ellsworth has 6 players scoring 12 or more points a game with one of the deepest rosters in this tournament. The final of the top 4 seeds is the number 4 seed in this one. It will be Macomb. Last year's runner-up is heading back to Danville as the winners of the Great Lakes District B tournament. It marks the first time in program history that the Monarchs have claimed a conference champ, a state champ, and a region championship all in the same year, and the winning might not be done yet. Macomb is one of the best passing teams in the country, tallying 23 assists every contest, which is good enough for second in NJCAA Division II. So with those top 4 seeds unveiled, let's go ahead and look at the bracket one more time. The number 1 seed Davidson-Davie will play the winner of the 16 and 17 game. Number 4 seed Macomb beneath them. They'll play the winner of the 13 and 20. Opposite side of the bracket, it's South Suburban, the 2, and they'll play the winner of the 15-18. And then Ellsworth beneath South Suburban as the 3 seed. They'll play the winner of 14 and 19. So now let's go ahead and talk with Coach Matt Ridge, the head coach of our number 1 overall seed, Davidson-Davie. We now welcome on the head coach of the number 1 overall seed in this Division II Men's Basketball National Tournament. It's Matt Ridge, the head coach of the Davidson-Davie Storm. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on the show, Zach.
Well, congratulations, Coach. 3rd straight 30-win season and 5th Division II tournament appearance. You get the number 1 seed this year. Where does this team rank compared to the other teams that you've taken to this tournament?
Well, I guess we're getting ready to find out next week, aren't we, Zach? We're very blessed here to have not just an incredible group of young men, but we have such a team here. And it starts at the very top with our president, Jenny Varner, who's extremely supportive of our basketball program and our college in general, the foundation and Christian Briggs. We have all sorts of people on our campus that help us here. Kevin Egan, who's one of our statisticians, math instructors here, does all kinds of analytical stats behind the scenes for us. Tim Gwillem, a dean. I mean, it's just on and on and on. My assistant coaches. We're truly a team, and we would not be where we are today without everyone and all the help that they provide us.
Well, your team is scoring 95 points a game, fourth most in NJCAA Division II. How do you keep your team fresh through 33 games when you've had so many dominant wins this season and you're moving into a tournament style of play?
Well, one of the things I'm sure most people do, you start off practicing a little bit longer in the preseason, and as the season wears on, those practices get shorter and shorter. Junior college is unique in the fact that you can start really 8 hours a week in the preseason. And so August to March is 8 months. It's a long season, Zach. So we've really shortened these practices down to 45 minutes to an hour on the court. We actually spend a lot of days more time in film session and with Kevin Egan doing analytical stats in the classroom than we do on the court. We're just kind of fine-tuning things on the court, going over scout, maybe shell drill, and getting up a lot of shots. So I think that helps to some degree. And then just keeping them loose mentally. A lot of teams in the postseason, when they get on that big stage, can tighten up, and we've tried to really keep things loose for them. I think that's really, really important, especially as the season wears on and when you advance to this point, because you're playing against big-time competition. I mean, this field is going to be incredible. You've got South Suburban, who beat us 2 years in the national championship, and Milwaukee Area Tech back this year. Macomb, who beat us. I mean, it's a great field, and it should be an exciting week of basketball for Danville, and Brian and his team out there do an amazing job putting on an unbelievable tournament for everybody in the city of Danville. So we're excited to be back.
Plenty of talent on your roster, Coach, but sophomore Jacob Moore has been a fantastic addition, scoring 15 points a game. Is that the kind of production that you expected when he came on campus in the fall?
Jacob was my top recruit a few years ago out of high school, and we've been blessed to have him transfer in. He's certainly a big part of what we do on both sides of the ball. But we really got, 7 guys averaging between 9 points and 15 points. So we're extremely balanced. When I played in Chapel Hill, Coach Smith emphasized the most difficult teams and the ones that are balanced. So, I think that's something that is maybe one of our strengths, is our balance. And, of course, what we do on the other side of the ball is at the core who we are defensively. And those close games that we've been in this year, our half-court pressure man-to-man has really carried us. So Jacob is certainly a big part of who we are and what we do on both sides of the ball, but we're really balanced as well.
Excited to see the Storm battle for a national title. Thank you, Coach Matt Ridge. Any final comments before we wrap it up?
Well, we've been to nationals now, qualified 5 years in a row. In the last 3 years, we've gone 3-1, and we've been blessed to go 3-1, but it's time to get this monkey off the old man's back and find a way to go 4-0, hopefully, but it's going to be tough. To win 4 games in Danville is not easy. So we're certainly blessed and excited to be back. I do, again, want to thank, of course, my players first, and then all those other people I mentioned. And we're just really blessed and excited to be back.
Coach Matt Ridge, everybody, head coach of the Davidson-Davies Storm. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks again to Coach Matt Ridge for talking with us. As the #1 seed, Davidson-Davie looks to make some noise in this tournament, and congratulations to all of the top 4 seeds in this bracket. All right, quick break. Other side, we announce everybody else in this tournament, the 4 at-large bids, and seeds 5 through 20. Stay with us on the NJCAA Network.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, welcome back into the NJCAA network. Before we show you the remaining seeds in this tournament, we're going to tease you a little bit longer. Let's take one more look at the bracket. 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds have been decided. Davidson-Davie, South Suburban, Ellsworth, and Macomb are the top 4 seeds in this tournament. Everybody else yet to be decided. 4 at-large bids still remain for this tournament in Danville from March the 18th to the 23rd. All right, without any further ado, let's get into it, and we start with that 16 versus 17 matchup, which will decide who gets to play the number 1 overall seed. We start with the 16 seed. It is Hawking. The Hawks punched their ticket with an automatic bid, fending off number 13 ranked Bay College to win the Great Lakes District A championship. The difference maker for Hawking is their ability to crash the boards, snatching a third-best 16.8 offensive rebounds a game. Congratulations to the Hawks. They will play the 17 seed, South Arkansas. The Stars are headed to the national tournament for the first time in school history. What a season it's been. What a story it's been. They pulled off the biggest upset across the region championships, knocking off the number 1 National Park Nighthawks in a thriller. They went on to beat St. Louis CC in the Central Plains District Championship to lock up this automatic bid. Look out for all-region point guard Trorion Ramos, who is scoring 17.4 points a game. Let's move along to our number 8 versus number 9 matchup with our first at-large bid. It is Des Moines area. DMAC may have fell to Ellsworth in the Region 11 semifinals, but their resume speaks for themselves as the Bears get in as the number 8 seed and an at-large bid. Angelo Winkle leads the way in scoring, shooting 60% from the field and adding 16.7 points a game. They'll play the number 9 seed. It is Pima. The Aztecs claim their first region title since 2019, eking out a win over Chandler Gilbert 64-61 to get the automatic bid. This team has dominated in nearly every offensive category. Number 1 in field goal percentage, number 1 in assists, number 1 in rebound margin, and number 1 in scoring, racking up 103 points a game over 32 games this season. We move along, and we have another at-large bid for our 13 and 20 matchup. Winner of this one will play the 4 seed, and the 13 overall seed is North Central Missouri. Pirates went cold in the Region 16 championship, losing to St. Louis, but they will get their chance at redemption, getting in as the 13 seed and another at-large. Freshman Tyler King has been phenomenal this season, leading the team in scoring and starting 30 of 31 games this year. They'll play the 20 seed to start. It is United Tribes Tech. The Thunderbirds are the Cinderellas this year, earning an automatic bid and breaking a 23-year national tournament drought. Sophomore forward Caden Redfield has led the way, tallying 20.5 points a game. Moving along, it's our 5 versus 12 matchup and another at-large bid. It's our third at-large bid, and it's National Park. The Nighthawks spent a good chunk of the season as the number 1 team in the land and were undefeated before losing a shocker to South Arkansas by 2 points in the region championship. They'll be playing with a chip on their shoulder as a top-seeded at-large. This is a team dominated by sophomores with veteran experience and the bulletin board material to make a tournament run. They'll play the 12 seed to start. It is Johnson County. 10th appearance for the Cavaliers in the D2 National Championship, and the 3rd for head coach Rand Chappelle. They sport one of the better defenses in the country, limiting teams to 65.3 points a game this year. Let's move along to the number 15 versus number 18 matchup. We start with a 15 overall seed, Howard Community College of Maryland. It's the second time in 4 years that the Dragons have won the regional championship, taking down CCBC Catonsville on late free throws to clinch their spot. Tournament MVP Andrew Mills has been the star for Howard this year, putting up 16, 7, and 2 over 30 games this season. They'll play the 18 seed, Florida State Jacksonville. The Blue Wave are tournament bound in their first year of NJCAA D2 basketball. First-year coach John Prutrisky has an unbelievable debut season, claiming a Sun Lakes Conference Championship, a Region 8 Championship, and the Gulf South District Championship. Look out for Terrence Guignard, the sophomore, averaging 21.4 points a game for FSJC. Keep it moving. We go to the 7 and the 10 seed. They're underneath that 2 seed part of the bracket. It is Parkland. The Cobras punched their ticket after a dominant season in a Region 24 championship. First for head coach John Bowler. Scoring comes from all over in this lineup, with 5 players putting up 10 or more points, led by sophomore guard Jabrin Anderson. They will play the 10 seed on March the 19th, St. Clair County. The Skippers are back in the tournament for the first time since 2021. But this time they come as the 10 seed. St. Clair County cruised their way to the Great Lakes District C title, one of the most veteran teams in this tournament. Of the 155 total games started across their starting 5, only 6 games came from freshmen. Look for their bigs to defend the paint. The Skippers are second in the NJCAA with 6.5 blocks a game. Now we go to that bottom quadrant of the bracket. It is the number 14 seed and the number 19 seed that will square off to play Ellsworth, and the 14 seed is Monroe Community College. For the first time since 2016, the Tribunes claimed the Region 3 championship with a 20-point win over Erie, and followed that up with an East District A championship over Raritan Valley. Monroe CC holds opponents to the lowest field goal percentage of anyone in D2 at 36.9%. So that stifling defense will go on to take the 19 seed on March the 18th. It is Morris. CCM and the Titans took home the East District B championship with clutch late win free throws over Orange County. Jonathan Edward poured in 29 points in that win, with most of those coming at the stripe. He'll look to keep that success going in the national tournament. Morris and Monroe, the 14 and the 19, that will go on to play the number 3 Ellsworth. And we move along to the final matchup of this tournament. The 6th seed is Milwaukee Area Tech. Last year's champion follows up their 32-win campaign last year with another automatic bid in a 28-5 season. The Stormers return a number of players from the title-winning team, but the leading scorer on this year's squad is still a freshman, Shelton Williams, who is putting up 15 points a game. Now the final seed, the 11 seed, our last at-large bid, and the last team that will make it into this tournament. It is the Iowa Lakes Lakers. What a season it's been for the Lakers. No one really saw them coming, but the magical season will continue as they get an at-large bid. ILCC rattled off 6 ranked wins with the help of a pair of first-team All-Region players Sam West and Kai Evans. Congratulations to the Lakers. So let's look at the full tournament now that everybody has been unveiled. We look at that top left portion of the bracket. It's Hawking and South Arkansas for the right to play number 1 seed Davidson-Davie. Then underneath them is Des Moines Area and Pima. Then beneath them, Macomb, the 4 seed, will play the winner of North Central Missouri and United Tribes Tech. And beneath them, National Park, the 5 seed, will play Johnson County, the 12. Opposite side of the bracket, it's South Suburban, the 2, who will play either Howard or Florida State Jacksonville. The 7 and the 10 is Parkland, St. Clair County. Ellsworth is the 3 seed. Monroe, CC, and Morris will battle. And then the former champ, Milwaukee Area Tech, against the 11 seed, Iowa Lakes. What a talented tournament that we have. Stay with us as we take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got the D2 men's basketball chair, Chris Depew, to talk about some of the decisions made.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Welcome back into our NJCAA Division II Men's Basketball Selection Show, and we've got a special guest joining us. It is the Division II Men's Basketball Committee Chair, Chris Depew. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and start with the at-large bids. Tough conversation. It was presumably between Iowa Lakes and Kirkwood for the second at-large spot for Region 11. What was that discussion like to put the Lakers over the Eagles after that tight game in the Region 11 semifinals?
Yeah, well, we all know that there's four really strong teams out in Region 11, and only three would be able to qualify. We were pretty confident as a committee that DMAC would get one of those, leaving only one spot left for either Iowa Lakes or Kirkwood. We had a lot of discussion. It certainly wasn't unanimous, but at the end of the day, Iowa Lakes won the game that counted the most and finished 2-1 in a head-to-head matchup against Kirkwood, and that's why the committee decided to go that direction.
And then for that final at-large spot, a little bit of a tougher decision. You had to decide between 28-5 Waubonsie and 25-6 North Central Missouri. What were the deciding factors in that conversation?
So there were a few teams that were in consideration there, but at the end of the day, those were the two teams that landed on top for that final discussion. After a lot of soul searching and up and down and reviewing schedules, we just decided that the body of work, the old cliche body of work, kind of applied a little bit better to North Central Missouri. North Central Missouri has a couple of signature wins over automatic qualifiers to the tournament. And though Waubonsie had a great season and had some really good games with South Sub and Milwaukee, we just felt that North Central Missouri overall body of work just gave them the slight nod.
Let's move to the top of the rankings, and the number 1 seed before regional started, National Park, drops all the way to the 5 seed. So how much did that 2-point loss in the region championship go on to hurt them?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we know National Park has had a great year. We've heard a lot of great things about them throughout the year. They were the number 1 ranked team in several of the polls towards the end of the season, and then they had that tough loss there in their regional. The 4 teams, the top 4 teams that we landed with, did their job, and they got themselves where they needed to be and won the games they needed to win. So that's why National Park dropped to the number 5 seed.
And lastly, let's go ahead and talk about that number 1 overall spot. 2 very much deserving teams in Davidson-Davie and South Suburban. How tough was that conversation?
It was extremely tough. Everybody knows the last 4 or 5 years, Davidson-Davie and South Suburban are arguably 2 of the best Division II teams in the country, consistently in the national tournament. South Sub won a couple years ago. Davidson's been in the final game or in the final 4, and I think 4 of the last 5 years. 2 of the best teams in Division II college basketball. We just, we felt Davidson did everything they needed to do all year long. South Sub, we know plays probably the toughest schedule in the nation. And we know Coach Pagatti has no fear of playing anybody in front of him. We think it's a great tournament. We think they're the top 2 teams going in, and that's why we put them on opposite sides of the bracket.
Going to be really exciting, to say the least. Chris Depew, everybody, any last final comments before we wrap this selection show up?
We're just really excited that the tournament came together the way it did. We think we have some great matchups early on. I want to thank the committee for their tireless work, as well as our poll voters and our Coaches Association representative, who spent a lot of quality time all year long putting us in this position. I want to thank them and thank the NJCAA for their support.
Thanks again for your time, and excited to see how this tournament plays out.
Thanks so much.
Thanks again to Chris Depew for standing in the line of fire, making some really tough decisions as the committee chair, and he has put together a great tournament seeding. Let's go ahead and look at the bracket one more time. Tons of impressive matchups and some good matchups in this one. Des Moines has an at-large against number 9 Pima. That's going to be a really good game. Curious to see how Iowa Lakes fares against Milwaukee Area Tech at the bottom of the bracket. And there are tons of good matchups up and down between all 20 teams. So congratulations to everybody that made this tournament, the 16 district champs and those 4 at-large bids. And we cannot wait to see you in Danville from March 18th to the 23rd. Congrats once again, and thanks for tuning in on the NJCAA Network.